Welcome back to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated as always. So we are taking a look at the Age of Apocalypse X-Men SABRETOOTH figure. Now there is so much to unpack with this guy, so I want to jump straight into it. So the things that he comes with quite a few bits in the box as well as a huge figure. He comes with 2 closed fist hands. There is also a secondary bit of plastic in the box that contains the 2 ponytails for both heads that are included. He also has the additional head as well, so you've got one angry and one sort of more placid. And of course he comes with the Colossus Build-A-Figure head and the back of his bandana. So that just pops in like that, but let me just give it a push just to see what it looks like. I should really save this for when I do the Build-A-Figure review, so yeah, just goes in like that. That's fine, that's cool. That's really nice, big Build-A-Figure head. But I'll put that aside and we'll look at that at a later date. So let's put these ponytails into the hair. So they're both exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which one they go into. And there's a plug there, and they push in pretty much like a Build-A-Figure piece. There's a plug and a peg hole. And I'm just going to do this one as well. I'll pull this head off just so that we can have a closer look at it. And it's actually quite nice that they've made these so that you have to build them yourself, because that gives them a little bit of movement, which is always nice when it comes to long hair. So here are the 2 heads. You've obviously got one angry one and one more placid one. Obviously because the character Sabretooth in the comic books was one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse in Age of Apocalypse, and then later exiled and became one of the X-Men. So I'm assuming that one of the heads is for one version of the character and one is for the other. So let's just pop this one in. I'm going to put the angry version in just because I think it gives it a little bit more character. Now the buck that they've used for this particular Sabretooth is the same as the Death's Head 2 that we got a couple of years ago. So obviously there are pinholes here that you can see, but it's a nice big thick body mould, which is really cool. And I can't think off the top of my head other figures that have used that since Death's Head. So it's really cool to see a Sabretooth on that. He is definitely a character that's always depicted in the comic books as a big, bulky figure. So if I just get Cyclops just for size comparison, you can see that he is head and shoulders above him, which is not only comic book accurate, but also good for displays. So as I said, we've had Sabretooth before. He came back in the day. It was part of the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave, and to be perfectly honest with you, I really loved this figure at the time. However, now I've got this version. This one looks a little bit small. When you've got them side by side, he does not look as menacing as he did originally. I think all Sabretooth figures should be built on this Death's Head body, just because it is so big and so thick. I just had a thought here. As a customizer, you're always kind of looking at stuff that can swap around and you can put on other figures, for example. So if I took the fur off of the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure version, does it work on this version? And you know what, it does. So there we go. That might be my next custom project there, to actually make a standard. Or we might see a standard version of Sabretooth on this body in the future, because you see there the peg holes are already there and the fur does indeed fit. So I might have just predicted the future a little bit, but I think we're going to see another version of Sabretooth on this body. But anyway, back to this particular figure in review. So the character in the comics is really interesting because, as I said earlier, he starts off as part of Apocalypse's horsemen. He's then thrown into a cell when he kind of leaves them, and that's where he meets Wildchild, and they fight and they kind of, trying to exert dominance, and eventually Sabretooth obviously comes out as the alpha male, and that's how he kind of has Wildchild as his pet, shall we say. And then the 2 of them join the X-Men, and Wildchild basically just stays by Sabretooth's side all the time. What's also cool about the character Sabretooth is he is the one that, alongside Weapon X, rescues a character called Clarice Ferguson, and that is of course the character that later becomes Blink. So he's becomes like a father figure to her eventually, and that's the kind of relationship that they have. He sees her very much as like his daughter, so obviously looks out for her. But Blink's obviously another big character in the Age of Apocalypse storyline, and it's Sabretooth and of course Weapon X that rescue her. So he is obviously going to be displayed in my display with Wildchild on his chain as so. I'll probably put a bit more expression into the pose of Sabretooth, but these are the pair that I'm going to put together. Like many collectors, when they gave us Wildchild in that first wave, everybody knew that Sabretooth would be coming eventually. A lot of people predicted that he was going to be a Build-A-Figure, and a few people did kind of hint towards that he would be on this bigger buck, that he would be on this kind of Death's Head body. But the two of them look absolutely fantastic together. I do think they do. I think they really do. I think that it's a good pair up. The colours match, the hair tone matches, and it just looks like how you'd want a figure version of those comic book characters. So yeah, so that is it. That's my kind of 5 minutes on Sabretooth. If you're enjoying the 5 minute figure reviews, please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things, and do check out the other reviews on my page. See you soon.